Welcome to r/Reddit Revenge. This is a story of someone getting back at someone with revenge after being wronged. Thank you friends for subscribing to the channel, and for so many likes. The first story. I played a playlist of annoying children's songs, including Kids Bop and remixes, to punish repair guys who showed up late without calling. The second story. My bizarre landlord repeatedly violated our privacy, constructed a shoddy room without permits, destroyed the backyard, and attempted tax fraud, leading to his financial downfall. The third story. Neighbors misuse hallway. I reciprocate with exaggerated items, highlighting their misuse and creating inconvenience. And the first story is, show up late without calling? Enjoy hell's playlist while you work. A little background about me. I, 30 female, used to work at a daycare for 5 years before moving on to being a receptionist for an optometrist. This particular office is one of the ones you can find in Walmart, Target, Costco, etc. That particular bit of information will be important later, I promise. I am also not an early morning person. I hate waking up before 8 or 9 a.m. for work. I always lay in bed for as long as possible before getting up and going on about my day. On with the story. Our retinal imaging machine broke down a week or so ago. It's a machine that takes a scan of the back of your eye. The repair guy was supposed to show up at 8 a.m. this morning. We open at 10. My boss has young children that she has to get ready for school at that time. So I got the honor of showing up 12 hours early. My alarm goes off at 7 a.m., and I accidentally turn it off instead of hitting snooze. Luckily, I live 10 minutes away from the office and I woke up before 7:30. I get up, rub the sleep from my eyes, and quickly put on my scrubs. I leave with just enough time to grab breakfast beforehand. I get to the office right around 8 a.m. and begin my morning routine. 8:15 rolls around and the repair guy still hasn't shown up. I'm messaging my boss with all the updates. As the minutes continue to tick by, my ire only continues to grow. 8:30 rolls around, all my tasks are done, and there's still no sign of the repair guy. I begin messaging my boss again, threatening to sacrifice the stupid repair people to the heathen gods, should they not show up today. My boss assures me that they confirmed we were on their schedule. She has received no phone call or email or any form of communication about whether or not they are on their way or running late or already there. I said that if they don't show up by 8:45, I was going to blast the most annoying music I could find on Spotify while they worked. I begin adding music to my new revenge playlist as I wait. 8:45 and still nothing. Their fate has been sealed. I rub my hands together with a crazed gleam in my eye. Finally, close to 9 a.m., they show up. Apparently, they were waiting at the wrong spot since 8 a.m. Why didn't they call to confirm? That's one of the greatest mysteries of the universe. I open the door and beckon them inside, much like a spider would a fly. I was waiting inside the store since 8 a.m. I tried this door and the one next to you at 8:15. The only door to the office is located outside the store, which means they pulled on the door once and left without ever knocking. I'm not able to see the doctor from my spot at the desk. So by the time I got up to check the door, they were already gone. Also, the doctor's name and office name are on the door. But he was waiting inside for you, you might say. Ah, so he was waiting by the glasses shop. Yes, that's very common. That's why they have a sign on a table near the entrance inside, and on the outside door next to ours telling people where the office is located. Now, I know you're not supposed to mess with the IT guy. That's the best way to screw up your entire company. Usually, I'm very respectful to the IT people on the phone. I joke with them, appreciate their work, and keep on their good side. But this guy, this company, these absolute buffoons. We, and by we, I mean the doctor mostly, have had issues with them previously. Issues that are not mine to disclose. They showed up an hour late. No call, no knocking, didn't even bother to read any of the signs. I've been at this office since 8 in the morning. I'm beyond tired. I'm beyond done with any and all nonsense. So what was my revenge, you ask? I made a playlist of Kids Bop, children's songs, and various other annoying as F songs. That's been playing for an hour while they're working. How can you stand it? Remember when I said I worked at a daycare for 5 years? These songs were my jam the entire time I was working there. I can listen to these songs with little to no damage to my sanity. Baby Shark? I sing that randomly throughout the day anyway. Wheels on the Bus? That slaps real hard too. Baby Bumblebee? Oh hell yeah. Kids Bop? Unpopular opinion is that they don't suck as much as people say they do. But it's not just children's songs I have playing. Oh no. I also have gems such as They're Taking the Hobbits to Isengard and Why Is the Rum Gone? And my personal favorite, the Lil Jon remix of Cooking by the Book. You know, the one that goes from being a simple upbeat kids song to now break it down, B, now let me see you back it up within a few lines? The doctor for today has shown up and been giving me concerned glances. This explains so much, she said. She's not wrong. Even the repair guy stopped what he was doing to check on us because he thought he heard crying. Nah, it was just one of the repeat after me songs that repeats the same thing over and over and over and over and over until you lose all sense of yourself and feel your sanity dripping away bit by bit until nothing is left but an empty, drooling husk of your former self. This playlist has been playing for the past hour, at least as a form of punishment for not knocking or calling or anything. Do I have any regrets? Not a single bloody one. I can keep jamming without taking any psychic damage. I hope he has good rolls against sanity checks, because he has to clear a 17 to pass. D&D nerds, where you at? Update. It's been almost 5 hours and I'm still going strong. I've even started singing along to some of them at the top of my lungs, and you had best believe I'm also dancing in my chair. Your revenge and choice of music is a true masterpiece. The way you combine the most random and silly children's songs together with funny remixes is just genius. You clearly know how to create an atmosphere that makes you nervous and makes your work more fun. Even your reaction to this music, the way you sing and dance in your chair is great. How you've managed to make them feel like they're in kindergarten with songs like Baby Shark and Wheels on the Bus, while adding some beautiful gems like they're taking the hobbits to Isengard and Why is the Rum Gone, is just fantastically funny. Might I recommend Little Bunny Foo Foo, and if you can find it, Yake Enough Shan Your Granny Off a Bus? If you check out the Singing Kettle on YouTube, there are loads of little Scottish gems that are highly catchy. You've sent them to a kind of musical hell, and it seems like you've even started a merry dance of your own. The second story is, Landlord just gets more bizarre. Back in the 1990s, I needed to rent a room. I found a 2-bedroom, 1-bathroom duplex. The lease was for the one room, access to the garage, backyard, and kitchen. 3 months go by and no other roommates. My boyfriend decides to move cities and take the second room, so we had the entire duplex to ourselves. So he's paying rent on the second bedroom while I was paying for the first. 2 leases, 2 checks. Yes, we slept in one room and used the second for storage and office. Things start to get strange that first summer. Our city got up to 105 to 110 Fahrenheit. We often hung around in our skivvies because it was hot. We had curtains for privacy. LL starts coming by, unlocking the front door several times a month without notice. In our estate, LL has to give either 24-hour or 48-hour notice. Not 3 minutes, huh? More than once I had to dive into the bedroom because I was in my bra and panties. We complained. He begins to give us notice, except he is there every weekend. Okay, his house, fine. Then he starts renovating the garage into another bedroom, with no permits. My stepdad was a master carpenter, and shook his head in disgust at the sheetrock and floorwork. It is crap, he muttered. My BF's tools begin to go missing or mislaid. Quality tools. At this point, we begin to casually look into finding a new place. We upped our searching when we came home from a week-long vacation. LL had pulled out and rototillered the backyard. All the beautiful flowering bushes, shade trees, blackberry bushes were gone. There must have been a few $1,000 of foliage gone. He planted pumpkins. We moved out soon after. He began harassing us for breaking our lease. Nah, we were month to month. Then he refused to give us our cleaning deposit. We had hired a house cleaner. Once moved, it was close to tax season. At this time, our state was issuing a renter's and credit rebate. It was maybe $150 each. As we were still unmarried and had rented 2 rooms, we filed separately. NF did the taxes, so I'm not sure what happened or what he did exactly. But the computer tax program red flagged our taxes because someone else was filing as primary resident. Except you have to be living in the home to be primary resident. You guessed it, old LL was trying to get more refund by filing as primary. To ensure we were not audited or screwed over, he made a call to the IRS, explaining everything, faxing our leases, billing info, and even pics of the bedroom and office to show LL was not living there. He then called the city and reported the house renovations with no permit. He got fined up the yazoo and the house was for sale within a year. First, he offers you 2 separate leases for rooms in one duplex, which is actually intended for one tenant, and that's already weird. But you and your boyfriend decide to take both rooms, and now you're paying rent for 2 rooms and using the duplex as your own personal kingdom. Then the real surreal begins when the landlord starts illegal renovations without any permits. Your reaction and your carpenter's relatives' comments about the quality of the work only emphasize this absurdity. However, the main final chord, when your landlord decides to turn the beautiful yard into a pumpkin patch, adds additional comedy to the story. It seems that he's decided to turn your rented apartment into a real attraction of weirdness. And the ending of the story with amateur rivals and the sale of the house is the perfect final chord for this tale. The third story is fighting fire with fire. I've been in this apartment for 2.5 years now, and I have the most interesting neighbors next door. As far as I could see through their door, their apartment is clean and tidy, but they use our really small hallway as their storage for excess furniture and trash that's to be thrown out. My landlord told me they were like this all the time. I don't know how it goes in other countries, but in mine it's okay to put your trash on the hallway for say a night and then throw it in the container. But these people were overdoing it at the least. On the right side of their door is some old raggedy cupboard, and on the left 2 or 3 boxes with tiles and similar stuff, stacked on one another, which I never fail to bash with a traveling bag in silent protest when I'm going to and returning from a trip. And although it's only a family of 3, they use probably the biggest trash bags they can find. So if there's only 3 of them, and one of them is being an obnoxious child, they need days to fill that man-sized bag, which means the trash is already rotting inside. Add to the equation that we're on the top floor and you get a nice full bouquet of rotten mold every summer. The thing that did it was when they bought a new washing machine, and although they had 2 workers to bring it up the stairs, we didn't have an elevator, and install it, they asked the workers to put the old one at the bottom of the stairs, instead of letting them take and buy the old one for spare parts, recyclables, etc. That washing machine ended down there for more than 2 months, so now I had to dodge their furniture, enjoy the smell of decay if their trash was out, and then almost squeeze past the washing machine in between the floors. I used a subtle tactic of annoying them with opening the door on the machine every time I had to pass by it, but to no avail. They were closing it for some time, then let it stay open. Last week they changed their double bed mattress and put the old one on the stairs, and leaned it on the wall. Thankfully it was there only for a few days. So last weekend I head out with my friend to do grocery shopping for the next month. As I'm a powerlifter and he's training me to become one too, a lot of food has been bought and brought to my apartment, including 14 kilograms / 30 pounds of meat. When I finished trimming the fat and intestines off the meat, that left me with about 1 kilogram or 2 pounds of it. I put that in the trash bag and put the bag in the hallway. It was Saturday night and I intended to throw it out in the morning. However, when I got out the next morning, I felt pungent stench of meat, fat that had started to rot. With a grin from ear to ear, I came back inside and closed the door, tightly. As most people do, my neighbors do a lot of cooking on the Sundays, and since they don't have any opposing windows, they have to open the door to vent it. By the lunchtime, the stench was unbearable, so now they had to choose between having the apartment full of moisture and cooking odors, turning their AC on in the end of October, or nourish themselves with the stench of hell's a-hole on the day when whole family is together. I left it there almost till midnight. Even the next morning it could be smelled faintly. I was delighted all day while thinking about the gas chamber I created both outside and inside their apartment, since they couldn't properly air the apartment and all that on Sunday, when they rest and enjoy together and usually annoy me with psychedelic rock music, and Nazgul shrieks of their playful, read our son. They use the hallway to store all sorts of things in trash, and instead of throwing away the old washing machine, they just leave it on the stairs. It's weird. By separating the garbage with subtext, you've created a real gas chamber for your neighbors, forcing them to choose between the smell of dead nature and the culinary aromas of your kitchen. You've definitely proved to be masters of sarcastic jokes, using life circumstances to create funny situations. Hit the like button and subscribe to the channel. See you in the next video.